Well, we are ready to begin our second lesson on systems of linear equations. Today we're going to learn about how to solve them using substitution. So as previously, I would like for you to pause this video for a moment, read through the Common Core State Standards and the mathematical practices we'll use as we do our exercises. So previously you solved systems of equations by graphing. And today we're going to solve systems of equations by using substitution, and we'll also solve real-world problems involving systems of equations by using substitution. Only one new vocabulary word today, substitution, and we're already used to that one. Normally we say plug it in, but the correct term is substitution. So a key concept, we're going to talk about it in mathematical terminology, and then we'll break it down so that we're understanding what we're discussing. So step one, when necessary, we're going to solve at least one equation for one variable. So that'll come to light here in a little bit as we work a problem. Then we need to substitute that resulting expression from step one into the other equation to replace the variable. Then we solve the equation. And then when we get that done, step three will be to substitute the value from step two into the other equation, or either equation, and solve for the other variable. We will write the solution as an ordered pair. That's very important. So when you give me your answer, your solution to the system of equations, write it as an ordered pair. So let's break this down so we can understand what we're talking about. We're going to use substitution to solve this system of equations. Notice this one is already solved for y. Y is equal to negative 4x plus 12, and 2x plus y is equal to 2. So since we have y is equal to something, we can substitute this in for y into this equation. That's what we were talking about just a moment on that key concept. So as you see, we've taken this second equation, and in place of the y, we have substituted negative 4x plus 12 in. So now we need to simplify it. We're going to combine our like terms. 2x minus 4x is negative 2x. Now we're going to begin by solving for x. So we're going to subtract 12 from both sides. That leaves us with negative 2x is equal to negative 10. We divide both sides by negative 2. X is equal to 5. Now that we have what the value of x is, we can substitute in this value of 5 for either one of these x's. Now since this one is solved for y, it would make more sense to solve in 5 for x in this equation. Then we'll know what y is equal to without doing any more moving. So we're going to solve in, or substitute in 5 for x. So in negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Negative 20 plus 12 gives us a negative 8. So we know that the solution, the x is 5, the y is negative 8. So our answer is written as in an ordered pair. Now it's time for you to try one on your own. So pause the video, work the problem, then select your answer and restart the video to check to see if you're correct. Awesome. The answer is the ordered pair 1, 2. If you didn't get that answer, I want you to go back and rework it until you find out where you went wrong. Now, not always do we already have one of the equations solved for one variable. So as you notice, we have x minus 2y is equal to negative 3, and 3x plus 5y is equal to 24. So what we have to do is manipulate one of the equations so that we have a variable on one side by itself. So since this one has a coefficient of 1 with this x, we're going to move this one around and solve for x. So we're going to add 2y to both sides. So x is equal to negative 3y plus 2. So now in this second equation, in place of x, we're going to substitute in a negative 3 plus 2y. Now we use the distributive property. We're going to distribute this 3 across the parentheses. 3 times a negative 3 is negative 9. 3 times a 2y is a positive 6y. Next, we're going to combine our like terms. On the same side of the equal sign, we have a 6y and a 5y. They add to be 11y. Now we're going to need to solve for this variable y. That means we're going to add 9 to both sides. Whatever you do to one side, if you do it to the other, it keeps your equation equal. This leaves us with 11y equals 33. So what do we do next? You're right. We're going to divide both sides by 11, so y is equal to 3. So now we need to find the value of x. We have solved to discover that y is equal to 3, so it doesn't matter. We're going to solve into the first equation because that x is by itself. We'll have less math. So x minus 2 times 3 is equal to negative 3. X minus 6 is equal to negative 3. What do we do next? You are so right. We're going to add 6 to both sides. So x is equal to 3. So not only is y equal to 3, but x is equal to 3. So our solution is 3, 3. Time again for a check your progress. So pause the video, read the problem, find your solution, and then restart the video to check to see you're correct. Awesome. The answer is negative 2, 6. Good job. And if for some reason you didn't get that answer, now go back and rework the problem until you can find out what you did wrong. Sometimes we don't have a solution. So if you get an answer like negative 3 is equal to 4, well, negative 3 is never equal to 4. So if you get an answer like that when you're solving by substitution, the answer to that system is no solution. Sometimes you'll get 3 is equal to 3. Well, 3 is always equal to 3, so that one will have infinitely many solutions. So let's see which one we're going to come up with here. First of all, we have to solve for one of the variables. Which one do you think would be easier to manipulate? So right, I'm going to manipulate this one. Both of them have coefficients of 1. So we're going to decide to solve the second equation for y. So we're going to subtract x from both sides. That's going to leave us with y is equal to negative 2 minus x. So now in the first equation, in place of y, we're going to substitute in negative 2 minus x. Which we have done here. So we have 2x plus 2 times the quantity of negative 2 minus x is equal to 8. We use the distributive property to distribute that 2 across the parentheses. We end up with 2x minus 4 minus 2x is equal to 8. Now let's combine our like terms. What's going to happen to our x? Sure enough, our x we subtracted, we end up with 0. We end up with no x's. Is negative 4 ever equal to 8? It's a false statement, so that means there are no solutions to this system of equations. Okay, I want you to check your progress. So pause the video, read the problem, find your solution, and then restart the video to see that you're correct. Infinitely many solutions. You would notice that if you were to solve each one of these equations for y, you're going to end up with the exact same equation. Y is equal to 3 halves x minus 3 halves. So they are the same equation. So infinitely many solutions. Okay, now we're going to work a real-world problem. So let's read this for a moment. You can pause the video as you read. Okay, so we're going to let X equal the number of yearly memberships, and Y is going to equal the number of single admissions. So we've got yearly memberships plus single admissions. They sold a total of 50, both of these combined. Now we know that the cost is $35.25 for each yearly membership and $6.25 for each single admission, and they have got a total of admissions of $660.50. They want to know how much of each of these were sold. So we've got our two equations. So let's solve the first equation for X, since we've got zeros for coefficients. So X is equal to 50 minus Y. Now we're going to substitute in 50 minus Y for X into the second equation, which we have done here. So now let's use the distributive property. Distribute $35.25. We're going to multiply it by 50 and by negative Y. We've got some like terms here. We've got a negative 35.25y plus $6.25 y. Combined, we get 29y. We're going to subtract $1,762.50 from each side. We end up with two negative numbers. What do we do next, folks? You're right. We're going to divide both sides by a negative 29. So y is equal to 38. We're not done yet, though. We know what y is, so now we're going to go substitute in to find out what x is. We substitute 38 in for y. We're going to subtract 38 from both sides. X is equal to 12. So what do these answers mean? Well, this means that the Nature Center sold 12 yearly memberships and 38 single admissions, because X represents the yearly memberships and Y represents the single admissions. Here is a chance for you to try out for yourself. So pause the video, read through the problem, and then select your answer. Restart the video to see how you did. So it looks like Mikhail used 5 milliliters of 10% solution and 5 milliliters of the 40% solution of hydrochloric acid. Good job, folks. Now it's time to get with your groups and work on your exercises.